The Interrogation Chamber. The crystalline walls of the Xanthian High Council chamber pulsed with an eerie blue light, casting strange shadows across Commander Kira Blackwood's face. She sat motionless, her military posture unchanged despite 12 hours of continuous questioning. The deep scar running along her jaw seemed to catch the light, a reminder of the battles that had brought her here. The 7 lords of the Xanthian Confederation loomed above her on their floating platforms, their translucent bodies rippling with patterns of bioluminescence that betrayed their growing frustration. High Lord Vexther, his form a mass of swirling purple and gold energy, drifted forward. Commander Blackwood, his voice resonated through the chamber, translated perfectly into Earth Standard. You still haven't explained how a mere human managed to destroy our entire 7th Fleet. Those ships were crewed by our finest warriors, equipped with technology your species shouldn't even comprehend. Kira's steel-gray eyes reflected the pulsing lights as she allowed herself a slight smile. Perhaps your understanding of human capabilities requires updating, High Lord. The chamber's temperature dropped several degrees as Vexther's form darkened. The other lords shifted uneasily, their crystalline platforms humming with nervous energy. Junior Lord Zyra, the youngest of the 7, moved closer to the edge of her platform, her green luminescence flickering with curiosity. You were outnumbered 30-1, Zyra stated, her tone a mixture of fear and admiration. Our tactical simulations showed a 0% chance of human victory. That's your first mistake, Kira replied, brushing an invisible speck of dust from her black uniform sleeve. You rely too heavily on simulations. Humans have a saying, the most dangerous weapon is the one you don't see coming. The words hung in the air as warning klaxons suddenly blared through the chamber. Red emergency lights bathed the room in a crimson glow, and the crystalline walls vibrated with increasing intensity. High Lord Vexther's form expanded in alarm as status reports flooded in through their neural networks. Impossible, he thundered. Our orbital defense grid is reporting multiple failures. Security protocols are being overridden across all sectors. Kira stood slowly, her movements deliberate and controlled. Did you really think I came alone? That humanity would send its most decorated commander into enemy territory without a plan? The chamber's doors slid open with a hiss, revealing not the expected Xanthian guards, but a team of human operatives in sleek combat suits. Leading them was Lieutenant Commander Marcus Drake, his dark skin gleaming with sweat, a neural interface scar visible above his right temple. Commander Blackwood, Drake called out, his voice carrying across the now-silent chamber. The Ghost Protocol is complete. All systems are under our control. The 7 lords froze in their platforms, their luminescence patterns cycling through colors of shock and disbelief. High Lord Vexther's form contracted into a tight ball of furious energy. What is the meaning of this? He demanded. How did you breach our defenses? Kira walked toward her team, her boots clicking against the polished floor. While you were so focused on interrogating me, questioning how humans could possibly defeat your mighty fleet, you failed to notice the real threat. For 6 months, we've had operatives embedding themselves throughout your facility. Every guard you trusted, every system you relied on was compromised. But our genetic scanners, Junior Lord Zyra began. Can be fooled, Kira interrupted. Humans excel at adaptation, at finding ways around supposedly unbreakable defenses. Your arrogance blinded you to our true capabilities. The chamber's walls suddenly displayed holographic projections of the space around the Xanthian homeworld. Hundreds of ships were appearing, dropping out of hyperspace in perfect formation. But these weren't the crude vessels the Xanthians had expected from Earth. These ships were sleek, advanced, and unmistakably powerful. That's the Earth Defense Fleet, Kira announced, her voice carrying a note of pride. While you were busy underestimating us, humanity was preparing. Every battle, every engagement was a test. We studied your tactics, your technology, your weaknesses. The destruction of your 7th Fleet wasn't just a victory, it was a message. Lieutenant Commander Drake stepped forward, his neural interface glowing as he accessed the facility's systems. All weapon systems are offline. Their entire defense network is under our control. High Lord Vexther's form pulsed with rage. You dare to threaten the Xanthian Confederation? We are a civilization thousands of years old. Age doesn't guarantee wisdom, Kira responded, her voice sharp. You looked at humanity and saw primitives playing with technology we shouldn't understand. What you should have seen was a species that had survived countless challenges, that had learned to turn disadvantages into strengths. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The mighty Xanthian Confederation, which had dominated this sector of space for millennia, had been outmaneuvered by a species they had dismissed as barely worth notice. What are your demands? Junior Lord Zyra asked, her form dimming to a subtle green glow. Kira turned to face the seven lords, her expression neutral but her eyes intense. This isn't about demands, this is about understanding. Humanity isn't seeking dominance, we're seeking respect. You'll find our terms reasonable, but first, you need to accept a fundamental truth. The galaxy has changed. The era of Xanthian supremacy is over. As if to emphasize her point, more Earth ships appeared in the holographic display, taking up strategic positions around key Xanthian installations. It was a show of force, but also of precision and control. This wasn't a violent coup, it was a calculated demonstration of power. The question now, Kira concluded, is whether the Xanthian Confederation is wise enough to adapt to this new reality, or if you'll cling to your outdated beliefs until they destroy you. The seven lords huddled together, their forms mixing in a swirl of concerned colors. The future of their civilization hung in the balance, and for the first time in their long history, they weren't the ones holding the power. Breaking point. The crystalline chamber's atmosphere grew heavy with tension as streams of data flickered across its walls. The seven lords of the Xanthian Confederation had transformed their floating platforms into a makeshift war room, their translucent forms pulsing with rapid communications. But Commander Kira Blackwood could see through their show of control. They were scrambling, desperate to understand how thoroughly they'd been outmaneuvered. Lieutenant Commander Drake's neural interface glowed as he processed incoming tactical data. Commander, the Ghost teams report full implementation across all secondary targets. The Xanthian defense grid is completely under our control. High Lord Vexther's form twisted in barely contained fury. You speak of respect, Commander Blackwood, yet you infiltrate our highest security facilities. You corrupt our most trusted systems. Corrupt, Kira raised an eyebrow. No, High Lord, we improved them. Lieutenant Commander, show them what we've done to their planetary defense network. Drake gestured, and the chamber's holographic displays transformed. The Xanthian defense grid appeared as a complex web of interconnected systems, but now it pulsed with new life, operating at efficiencies the Xanthians had never achieved. Impossible, Junior Lord Zyra whispered, her green luminescence flickering with disbelief. These improvements, they're beyond even our most advanced theoretical models. Because you think linearly, Drake explained, his dark eyes reflecting the holographic light. Human minds excel at lateral problem-solving. We saw possibilities in your technology that you never imagined. A new figure entered the chamber, Captain Helena Volkov, her silver hair tied back in a severe bun, her cybernetic right arm gleaming. She moved with the fluid grace of someone equally comfortable in zero-gravity or planetary conditions. Ghost Teams 2 through 7 report mission success, she announced, her voice carrying the slight accent of someone raised in the lunar colonies. All Xanthian military installations are secure, no casualties on either side. This last detail caused the seven lords to pause in their frantic communications. High Lord Vexther's form stabilized slightly, curiosity temporarily overriding his anger. No casualties, he repeated. You have control of our entire military infrastructure, yet you chose not to eliminate our personnel. Unlike you, Kira replied, we don't measure success by body count. Every Xanthian officer and crew member is safe, simply isolated from command and control systems. This isn't an invasion, it's an intervention. Captain Volkov stepped forward, her cybernetic arm projecting additional data into the holographic display. We've spent years studying your civilization, Learning your weaknesses, yes, but also understanding your potential. The Xanthian Confederation achieved incredible things before stagnation set in. The chamber's walls rippled, as if responding to the tension in the room. Junior Lord Zyra drifted lower on her platform, her form brightening with sudden understanding. "The trade disruptions in the Outer Rim," she said. "The mysterious technological advances among the younger races, the inexplicable failures of our surveillance networks. All of it was you." "All of it," Drake confirmed, his neural interface pulsing. "Every setback you've experienced in the past 5 years was carefully orchestrated. We needed to understand how you'd react, how your systems would compensate." High Lord Vexther's form darkened to a deep purple. "To what end? If domination isn't your goal, what do you hope to achieve with this display of power?" Kira walked to the center of the chamber, her presence commanding attention. "Evolution, High Lord. Your civilization is dying, not from external threats, but from internal decay. You've become so convinced of your superiority that you've stopped growing." The holographic displays shifted again, showing historical data spanning centuries of Xanthian rule. The patterns were clear. Technological advancement had slowed, cultural innovation had stagnated, and the once mighty Confederation had become increasingly rigid and defensive. "We're offering you a choice," Captain Volkov continued, her cybernetic arm adjusting the display. "Continue on your current path of isolation and stagnation, or join us in building something new. A true confederation of equals where innovation is valued over tradition and strength comes from diversity rather than conformity." The seven lords huddled closer, their forms merging and separating as they communicated in rapid bursts of light and energy. Junior Lord Zyra broke away first, her green glow steady and determined. "The humans speak truth," she declared, causing ripples of shock through her fellow lords. "I've studied our historical archives extensively. We've become a shadow of what we once were. Our greatest achievements lie centuries in the past." "Treason," High Lord Vexther exploded, his form expanding to fill his section of the chamber. "You would trust these primitives over the wisdom of your own people." "Primitives?" Drake laughed, the sound echoing through the chamber. "We just dismantled your entire defense network without firing a shot. We transformed your technology while you were watching for external threats. Which of us is truly primitive?" The chamber's crystalline walls began to pulse with a new rhythm, and additional holographic displays sprang to life. They showed scenes from across Xanthian space, ships moving into new configurations, defense systems adapting to human protocols, and most surprisingly, Xanthian citizens and military personnel beginning to work alongside human operators. "Your own people are already embracing the change," Kira observed. "They see the opportunity we're offering. The question is, will their leaders be wise enough to do the same?" High Lord Vexther's form contracted, his luminescence patterns showing confusion and, for the first time, uncertainty. The other lords watched him carefully, their own forms flickering with indecision. The future of the Xanthian Confederation hung in the balance, and everyone in that chamber knew it. This was more than a military victory or a political power play. It was a moment of transformation, a breaking point between the old way and the new. And Commander Kira Blackwood stood at its center, ready to guide them toward whichever future they chose. The counter-strike. The moment of truth arrived with the subtlety of a quantum storm. Warning signals erupted across the chamber's crystalline displays as new energy signatures appeared in high orbit. High Lord Vexther's form expanded with triumph, his purple-gold essence blazing. "Did you truly believe," he thundered, "that we would leave our homeworld defended by only one fleet? The Ancient Guard approaches, our most powerful ships, hidden in deep space for precisely such treachery." Commander Kira Blackwood exchanged glances with Lieutenant Commander Drake, their expressions unchanged. Captain Volkov's cybernetic arm whirred softly as she accessed tactical displays. "The Ancient Guard," Kira mused, her voice carrying a hint of amusement. 14 dreadnoughts powered by quantum fold engines armed with gravitic weapons that can tear planets apart. Did I miss anything?" The seven lords rippled with surprise. Junior Lord Zyra's green luminescence flickered anxiously. How could you know the exact composition of our most secret fleet? Because, Drake responded, his neural interface pulsing, we've had control of the ancient guard for the last 3 months. The chamber erupted in chaos. High Lord Vexther's form became a maelstrom of dark energy, his voice booming through the translation systems. Impossible! The ancient guard answers only to direct commands from the 7 lords. The holographic displays shifted, showing the approaching dreadnoughts. Their massive forms gleamed in the starlight, but something was different. As the lords watched in horror, the ship's ancient Xanthian markings transformed, revealing new insignias, a combination of Earth Defense Force symbols and Xanthian script. "Allow me to introduce Commander Raj Patel," Kira said, as a new holographic figure appeared in the chamber. A man in an Earth Defense Force uniform stood on what was clearly the bridge of one of the ancient guard ships. "Greetings, High Lords," Patel's hologram spoke, his Indian accent carrying clearly through the translation systems. "Your ancient guard has been most educational. We've learned much from your ancestors' technology." Captain Volkov stepped forward, her cybernetic arm projecting additional data. 3 months ago, we discovered something fascinating in your historical archives, the original programming protocols for the ancient guard's command systems. Your ancestors were brilliant engineers, but they understood something you've forgotten. The importance of adaptation, Drake continued. The ancient guard systems were designed to recognize and incorporate superior technology and strategies. When we introduced our quantum AI protocols, the ships recognized them as advancement, not invasion. The displays showed detailed analytics of the ancient guard systems. Where there had once been rigid, hierarchical command structures, now there existed a fluid, adaptive network that merged human and Xanthian technology seamlessly. Your ancestors, Kira explained, built their greatest weapons with the humility to recognize that future generations might develop better solutions. They programmed the ancient guard to evolve. You're the ones who tried to lock it into stasis. Junior Lord Zyra moved her platform closer to the displays, her form radiating intense curiosity. These improvements, they've increased the fleet's efficiency by orders of magnitude. How did we not see this potential? Because you stopped looking, Commander Patel's hologram replied. You were so focused on preserving what you had, you forgot how to imagine what could be. High Lord Vexther's form contracted violently. This is the final insult. You dare to corrupt our most sacred weapons. Corrupt, Volkov laughed, the sound sharp and clear. We restored them to their intended purpose. Your ancestors built these ships to protect and advance your civilization, not to stagnate as symbols of past glory. The chamber's walls pulsed with new data as more ships appeared in orbit. But these weren't Earth vessels or Xanthian defenders. They were ships from dozens of other species, all displaying the same hybrid insignias as the ancient guard. While you were focused on maintaining your isolation, Kira revealed, we were building connections. Every species you've dismissed as inferior, every civilization you've ignored or suppressed, they've been working with us, combining their knowledge with ours, creating something new. Drake's neural interface glowed brighter as he accessed the expanded network. The Helios Compact, we call it. A coalition of civilizations dedicated to advancement through cooperation rather than competition. The ancient guard recognized its protocols as the next step in evolution. The 7 lords watched as their mighty dreadnoughts moved into formation alongside ships they had once considered beneath their notice. The combined fleet created patterns of breathtaking complexity, demonstrating levels of coordination that should have been impossible across such diverse technologies. This is your real choice, Kira stated, her voice carrying throughout the chamber. Not just whether to accept humanity as equals, but whether to rejoin the galactic community you've spent centuries trying to rise above. Junior Lord Zyra's form brightened suddenly. The ancient guard, they're not just accepting these changes, they're celebrating them. Look at the energy patterns. She was right. The ancient dreadnoughts were pulsing with colors that hadn't been seen in centuries. the traditional signals of Xanthian achievement and discovery. Your ancestors understood something vital, Commander Patel's hologram said softly. True strength doesn't come from standing alone. It comes from the ability to grow, to change, to combine the best of different worlds into something greater than the sum of its parts. High Lord Vexther's form had stopped its violent fluctuations. He drifted lower on his platform, his essence showing signs of deep internal conflict. What happens, he asked finally, if we refuse this evolution you offer? Then you truly will be alone, Kira answered simply. The galaxy is changing, High Lord. The only question is whether the Xanthian Confederation will help shape that change or be left behind by it. The chamber fell silent as the seven lords faced the most important decision in their civilization's history. Above them, the combined fleet of the Helios Compact continued its complex dance, a living demonstration of what was possible when ancient wisdom met new ideas, and the future was embraced rather than feared. Diplomatic warfare. The crystalline chamber had become a nexus of transformation. As the seven lords deliberated, new holograms materialized, representatives from dozens of species appearing in a grand circle around the central floor. Commander Kira Blackwood stood at its heart, the living embodiment of humanity's diplomatic revolution. "Welcome, members of the Helios Compact," she announced, her voice carrying to all corners of the chamber. The assembled holograms, some humanoid, others entirely alien, acknowledged her with various gestures of respect. High Lord Vexther's form twisted with renewed anger. "You dare to broadcast our internal affairs to the lesser races." A new voice cut through the tension, deep and resonant. "Lesser races? Is that what you called us when you borrowed our quantum tunneling technology?" The speaker was Ambassador K. Vax of the Meridian Collective, his crystalline form similar to the Xanthians but burning with fierce orange energy. "Or when you adapted our bioneural interfaces?" Added another hologram, this one representing the synaptic assembly of Tau Ceti, their neural network avatar shimmering with complex patterns. Lieutenant Commander Drake stepped forward, his neural interface synchronizing with the chamber's systems. "Every advancement the Xanthian Confederation has claimed as their own in the past century, we traced them all. You didn't develop them. You observed them, copied them, and then dismissed their creators as primitive." Captain Volkov's cybernetic arm projected a complex web of technological developments, showing how innovations had flowed between civilizations, officially and unofficially. "The greatest irony is that you could have achieved so much more through cooperation." From his command deck on the Ancient Guard flagship, Commander Patel's hologram nodded. "When we first discovered this pattern, we saw an opportunity, not for revenge, but for revolution." Junior Lord Zyra's green luminescence pulsed with sudden understanding. "The trade networks, the technological exchanges, you weren't just studying us, you were building something." "The Helios Compact began as an idea," Kira confirmed. "A way to unite the civilizations that the Xanthian Confederation had dismissed. But it became something more, a proof that cooperative advancement is more powerful than isolated superiority." The chamber's displays shifted to show various worlds across the galaxy. On each, examples of shared innovation were visible. Xanthian quantum technology merged with Meridian engineering, human adaptive systems combined with Tau Ceti neural networks. "Your own citizens have been participating," Drake revealed, "especially your younger scientists and engineers. They saw the potential that their leaders refused to acknowledge." High Lord Vexther's form contracted to a dense point of purple-black energy. "Traitors, all of them." "No," came a new voice, strong and clear. A Xanthian scientist materialized in the chamber, Dr. Nexus, her young form glowing with brilliant blue-white light. "We are the true inheritors of our ancestors' vision. The Ancient Guard recognized this truth, why can't you?" The seven lords rippled with shock at her appearance. Dr. Nexus was supposed to be conducting classified research in the outer territories. Her presence here, now, represented yet another layer of humanity's infiltration. "For the past year," she continued, "I've led a team of Xanthian researchers working directly with the Helios Compact. What we've achieved together dwarfs anything we could have accomplished alone. The holographic displays filled with her team's results, innovations that merged the best aspects of multiple civilizations' technologies. The achievements were undeniable, the potential staggering. This was never about defeating you, Kira explained, her voice softening. It was about showing you a better path. Every move we made, from infiltrating your systems to reprogramming the ancient guard, was designed to demonstrate the power of cooperation. Ambassador Kavax's hologram moved forward. The Meridian Collective once stood where you stand now, High Lords. We chose to join the Compact, to share rather than hoard our discoveries. Our civilization has advanced more in the past 5 years than in the previous 50. The same is true for all of us, the Tau Ceti representative added, their neural network avatar pulsing with conviction. We are stronger together than we ever were apart. Commander Patel's hologram gestured, and the ancient guard ships began a complex maneuver, demonstrating their enhanced capabilities. Even your greatest weapons understand this truth. They accept our commands not because we conquered them, but because we showed them a way to fulfill their original purpose, advancing Xanthian civilization. High Lord Vexther's form finally began to stabilize, his energy patterns shifting from rage to something more contemplative. And if we agree to this, cooperation, what becomes of our sovereignty? You remain who you are, Kira answered firmly. The Compact doesn't erase identities, it enhances them. Look at humanity. We haven't lost our unique characteristics by working with others. We've found new ways to express them. Dr. Nexus moved to stand beside Kira, her Xanthian form creating in striking contrast with the human commander. Our ancestors built an empire by understanding and incorporating the strengths of others. Somewhere along the way, we forgot that wisdom. The Compact offers us a chance to remember. The chamber hummed with energy as the 7 lords faced their moment of decision. Above them, the combined fleet of the Helios Compact continued its synchronized display, a testament to what was possible when ancient power met new ideas, and isolation gave way to innovation. The galaxy is changing, Kira stated, her voice carrying the weight of historical momentum. The only question that remains is whether the Xanthian Confederation will help lead that change or be left behind by it. The future hung in the balance, waiting for the Lord's response. But in the eyes of everyone present, human, Xanthian, and all the members of the Compact, there was a growing certainty about what that answer would be. New dawn. The crystalline chamber of the Xanthian High Council had witnessed countless moments of historical significance over the millennia, but none quite like this. The 7 lords hovered in their traditional formation, but their usual rigid hierarchy had given way to something new. Their forms rippled with colors that hadn't been seen in generations, the hues of change, of possibility, of awakening. High Lord Vexther's essence had transformed from its earlier dark fury to a complex swirl of purple, gold, and an entirely new shade of silver. He descended from his platform to the chamber floor, a gesture unprecedented in Xanthian history. "We have deliberated," he announced, his translated voice carrying undertones of both resignation and anticipation. "For 10,000 years, the Xanthian Confederation has stood as a beacon of civilization in this galaxy. We believed this meant we must stand alone above all others. We were wrong." Commander Kira Blackwood maintained her diplomatic posture, but her eyes showed a glimmer of satisfaction. Beside her, Lieutenant Commander Drake's neural interface pulsed in sync with the chamber's systems, recording every moment of this historic shift. "The evidence before us is irrefutable," Junior Lord Zyra added, her green luminescence bright and steady. "The achievements of the Helios Compact, the evolution of the ancient guard, the innovations of our own people working in collaboration with others, they all point to the same conclusion." Captain Volkov's cybernetic arm projected one final series of data streams, showing the potential outcomes of this moment. The models predict a 300% increase in technological advancement across all member civilizations within the first decade of full cooperation. The holographic representatives of the Compact's member species watched intently as High Lord Vexther moved to stand directly before Commander Blackwood. His form shifted into the formal pattern of Xanthian diplomatic engagement. "We accept your proposition, Commander," he declared. "The Xanthian Confederation will join the Helios Compact, not as rulers but as equals. Our knowledge, our resources, our ancient guard, all will be shared within the framework of mutual advancement." The chamber erupted in a display of celebration unique to each species present. The Meridian Collective's Ambassador K-Vax blazed with crystalline fire, while the Tau Ceti neural network created cascading patterns of pure mathematical beauty. From his position on the Ancient Guard flagship, Commander Patel's hologram smiled. "The fleet stands ready to integrate fully with compact protocols. Already, we're seeing efficiency improvements beyond our most optimistic projections." Dr. Nexus moved forward, her young Xanthian form glowing with fierce pride. "My research team is prepared to begin immediate collaboration with scientists from all member species. There are innovations we've held back for centuries that could revolutionize everything from quantum computing to deep space exploration." "But this is more than just technological advancement," Kira stated, her voice carrying the weight of the moment. "This is about reshaping the very nature of galactic civilization. No more empires standing alone. No more species living in fear of those they consider superior or inferior. Today, we begin building something unprecedented." The chamber's crystalline walls pulsed with new energy as communication channels opened across the galaxy. On thousands of worlds, beings of all species watched as the most significant diplomatic revolution in known history unfolded. "There will be challenges," High Lord Vexther acknowledged, his form showing hints of his old authority tempered now with wisdom. "Centuries of isolation and superiority cannot be undone in a single moment." "Which is precisely why we approached this as we did," Drake explained, his neural interface displaying the intricate planning that had led to this moment. "Every step, from the infiltration of your systems to the reprogramming of the Ancient Guard, was designed to demonstrate the benefits of cooperation over confrontation." Captain Volkov stepped forward, her cybernetic systems interfacing seamlessly with both human and Xanthian technology. "The first joint project is already prepared. Using combined human adaptive algorithms and Xanthian quantum mechanics, we can begin expanding the galaxy's hyperspace network exponentially." "And that's just the beginning," Dr. Nexus added excitedly. "My team has identified over 300 immediate applications for merged technologies, each with the potential to benefit all member species." The chamber's displays shifted to show vessels from across the compact moving into new formations. The Ancient Guard ships, once symbols of Xanthian isolation, now served as the backbone of a united fleet. Their ancient power, enhanced by human innovation and contributions from other species, represented the dawn of a new era. "Let this day be remembered," Kira proclaimed, addressing not just those present but the billions watching across the galaxy. "Not as the day humanity outsmarted the Xanthian Confederation, but as the moment when the galaxy's greatest civilizations chose to forge a future together." High Lord Vexther's form expanded in the traditional gesture of Xanthian commitment. "The age of empires is over. The age of the compact begins." As the chamber filled with the combined light of a dozen species celebrating, Commander Kira Blackwood allowed herself a genuine smile. The mission that had begun with an apparent interrogation had ended with transformation. Humanity had proven that their greatest strength wasn't their ability to fight or outsmart their opponents, but their talent for bringing people together, for seeing potential where others saw only barriers. Above the Xanthian homeworld, the combined fleet of the Helios Compact began a synchronized maneuver that would have been impossible just days before. It was more than a display of power. It was a promise of what was to come, a demonstration that in unity there was not just strength, but endless possibility. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly the point.